something, God, our parent, might try and talk us out. We as earthly parents might try and talk our kids out, talk them into something better. At least in our minds, it is something better. But maybe it's not always. You know, how many people in this room who are parents have went through some tough ordeals, kids? About the same number of people that raised their hand when I asked how many had children. So if you've had children, and you've got children, you've got grandchildren, and some of you got great-great-grandchildren, if we got all those things, then we are God's children. And they're going to keep coming to us. And sometimes they come and want to borrow money. And sometimes we say, no, you need to learn how to save. Sometimes they wear us out, and we go ahead and give them what they ask. I can remember one of our grandchildren that was raised when we were in another community, and we were out west, further west. Finally made our trip to the east, been to Mecca now. But when we were out west, we had one who incessantly just would not pay any attention during church at all. Always fussing, always causing trouble. Just was not good in church. And so I remember one Sunday, Maggie took this grandchild thought, I won, I'm home free. Actually, put a chair facing the wall and put the child on the chair and says, you cannot move until church is out. And so, but sometimes they do wear us out. We just give them what God does that for us. And God says, don't get tired of asking. The answer may be no. You know, it depends on what you're asking. I saw the Powerball was, what, 170 million? I don't know what it was. A lot of money. When we drive in, we always look at the sign and see what it says. It's a lot of money. And sometimes, if we won that money, what would we do? What? Give it away? Might keep a couple bucks. Yeah, give it away. Well, sometimes we are kind of like those people who play Powerball. Maybe. If I keep trying, I'm going to get what I want. But the fact of the matter is that sometimes what our children want, and as children of God, that's the most important thing. As children of God, sometimes there are things that we're asking for that are just not in our best interest. That God knows that it will not be good for us. But we think, oh, Lord, Lord, I really would like to do this. Please, Lord, allow this to happen. And God just says no. God just says no. But God says, if you're a parent or someone on this earth that you admire and says no to you, does that mean you're never asking again? No. You keep on asking. You keep on asking. And the parable says, finally, this guy, he didn't love God, he didn't know God, he didn't respect God, he had wanted nothing to do with religion, and yet because this woman just kept bugging him to death, he granted her what she wanted. Sometimes we ask, nothing seems to happen. But there is no such thing as unanswered prayer. All prayer is answered. But I'm just betting dollars to notice that when our children were younger than they are now, for the most part, when our children were young, and they kept begging us, that a lot of times we gave in. All right, we'll do this. But the lesson in both of those scriptures is don't stop asking. Just because your prayer isn't answered the way you want it to be answered, first of all, it doesn't mean it's not answered. You just didn't believe it was answered because it was answered in a different way than what you want. And yet it was answered, nonetheless. But even if it isn't answered, even if God is silent, you just keep asking. Don't give up. You just keep asking God to do this, to do this, to do this. God's going to, in that process, God will purify your prayer, will purify your heart. And after a while, I think we come to the point where we say, what I really ask God for isn't going to be the best thing.
And so, in those cases, we're glad God delayed. God didn't grant us instantly. Now, God is not a magic genie where you rub to the top of a urn or something, out comes the genie and gives you whatever you want. That's not. God gives us all that we need. All that we need. Not all that we desire. There's a whole lot of difference between what we desire and what we really need. And God wants us to keep coming to Him. Sometimes that answer will be no. It will be no. I know that a bunch of you in this room have prayed for somebody to get well. They don't get well. Not physically, but they're still living. The body dies, but the soul lives on. So the point is, you've got to keep asking. We are the children of God. And if we are the children of God, that means God is our parent. And if God is our parent, which one of us has never went to a parent and begged for something? I didn't see any hands this time. Because we've all done it. Oh God, will please just do this, Lord. Do this one thing for me, Lord. I won't ask you again. God kind of chuckles and says, yeah, till the next time. And God finally grants us. But God purifies that in the process. If you're asking for something that is liable to harm you, God's not going to grant that right. But God's going to help you purify your prayer to where it's a prayer that's acceptable to God and the prayer that actually should have been prayed the first time. What we need to do is you just get on your knees, your spiritual knees. You may not have to get on your physical knees. But get on your spiritual knees. Say, God, here's my dilemma. Help me sort this out. Help me sort this out. That's the kind of prayer that God responds to. God doesn't respond overly well like most parents. Like most parents. You ever had a child come to you and say, you're going to do this for me now? If they come to you like that, first thing you're going to do is probably give it a little heat to the meat. The second thing is, you're going to say, no, absolutely not. Because you don't need this, it's not good for you. After a while, the child's prayer begins to be purified. This is why I want it. This is what I want to do with it. When our prayers are purified like that, and God purifies our prayers, God does increasingly more in us than we could ever imagine. You know, God's at work in your heart right now on a prayer need that you've got, on a concern that you've got, a joy that you've got. Prayer is not just spoken. Prayer is silent. And it's in the spirit, in the soul. God is working on your prayer request right now. Now, it could be when that prayer is answered, you're not going to recognize it because God has helped you. You've come from this point to this point. Sometimes we even say, and I can remember saying, younger, before I became a pastor, maybe even once or twice, God, don't you care that this? That surely breaks God. God understands. Because we've all felt that way. And as a good parent, we'll let our kids say, being great. But we let our kids, and sometimes even then, let our kids come to us. Because we have. Sometimes we have to sit down and say, this is what could happen if I really do this. God does the same. God might say to us, this is not in your best. That doesn't mean you stop praying. You never give up. Never quit. Because God wants us to talk. God wants to voice what we want. God absolutely, 100% understands if you yell and scream. God understands. If God, sometimes I've had kids yell and scream at me. You ever had kids yell and scream at you? Anybody? Yeah. And so, yeah. And so when that happens, God understands. God knows the human emotion. God created us. God put His Spirit within us. God knows all that there is to know. God says, I'm going to let that child of mine brave. Then when they're kind of tired, talk to them. Help them purify them. Sometimes what we ask for is just not. Because just not God's. Everyone in this room has lost someone to physical death. I'm betting you dollars to that before. I've said that before, but you know the truth of the matter that even when we don't think God, even when we think God doesn't, even when we say, I really, 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 God doesn't. God helps to purify it. God helps to make it the prayer that's acceptable. Again, there is no such. Just that sometimes the answer. Sometimes the answer. You know, with our kids, sometimes that still grants them hope. We have that hope too because God says, keep praying, keep asking me. Don't stop asking me. Who knows, says God. Maybe I'm going to relent. Maybe your prayer is going to change over time. But don't stop. Darkest day, person's life. Day, a whole lot of folks not in here. People that we might encounter. Just don't give up. My theory is that sometimes folks who can't find any other God take their own. Some people will say, well, that person's going. Because what it says to me is this person was so much agony. God still heard that and God responded. When they did, God took them. Because love is greater. Love is greater than. I think it's wrong to take. Because life that God has. Sometimes that life involves pain, involves suffering, it involves sorrow. Doesn't God understand? God knows all there is. God put us, formed us in. So why wouldn't God know? If we do something wrong, you know, it's also wrong if I were to curse God. Curse God and die, I'd say. I'm going to die for cursing. God wants you to. God wants you to continue praying, begging, asking. Do that powerful thing. Feel the presence of God. We know that even though we may not get that, God still loves us. There's not one person that hasn't had a loved one, somebody they cared deeply about, or a family. Every one of us has one or multiple times. When that happens, that means God gave up. He gave up. Just me. Keep on praying. Keep on asking. Maybe God will relent. If not, that doesn't mean God didn't. Doesn't mean that God won't. Just once, like that woman, terrible, because she won't relent, no matter which. God doesn't want us to. just because we pray it once. Think, well, we're told God once. God wants us to keep on talking to him. Who knows? Maybe God will relent and grant. Maybe God will say, gracious. There are so many times, Lord, we don't understand. We don't understand why we pray and pray. Get on our spiritual needs, palaces. Yet the request that we offer you. Just not recognize it was an answer. Was certain prayers of our heart. Accept those. Heart in him. Hallowed be. I will be done. Earth, give us this. We forgive. Lead us not into temptation. Deliver us from evil. Thine is the kingdom. Closing hymn is Here Am I, 590. Let's stand as we are able. Stand as you are able.